Okay, hello everybody. It is Tuesday, 9:49, so the markets are open. A little bit of a different video, doing it when the markets are open. And this will be a quick one. There's really not much to report until CPI data comes out tomorrow. So let's just jump right into this. The overall crypto market cap, we are hovering at that fib level of 2.5 trillion. And yeah, we're just going to wait and see. I know it's kind of like CPI data. This is a weekly chart you're looking at here. I will say the chart patterns that I'm seeing at the moment are bullish. You have somewhat of a double bottom pattern which is a bullish pattern. So we'll see if we retest 2.7 trillion here on the market cap before pulling back. And you're going to see this for both altcoins, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Again, see here, now you see a lot of wicks. Wicks indicate indecision. So just that FYI, some little TA for you. You see a lot of wicks. It's like, oh my gosh, what do we do? It's a lot of indecision going on with wicks, and especially when you see a smaller body and big wicks, it's a lot of indecision. Equally, really risky. Can turn over any way. But seeing the same thing for the altcoin market. So getting right into Bitcoin, Bitcoin is doing the same thing. I am curious to see what the CPI data is going to look like tomorrow. We're actually going to kind of get into that. Slowly starting to see hints at the moment that CPI could be higher because commodity prices are higher. But let's just look at the charts though from a TA perspective, and we still see that double bottom pattern playing out. So we could retest, we could drop down to 68 and then reclaim and grind up until the halving. We could grind up to 73, 74, up into the halving. And historically at the halving, we drop. So I'm factoring a 22% drop when the halving happens. But I have, like I said yesterday, I moved my inflection because on-chain data is saying the realized value of Bitcoin right now is 28K. So $28,000. I would not be surprised to see Bitcoin retrace to that level, but it may not, depending on a lot of other factors. So we'll see. Ethereum, same way, double bottom pattern, and my inflection got moved up to 1900 because that is right now reflective of the network's value. So, yeah. S&P 500, the markets are open, and the S&P is just going to grind. I think it's going to do much. You still have that big bearish engulfing candle on the daily, which is not a good sign. The tech stocks have rolled over, at least Nvidia. Nvidia's rolled over. So be careful, like I said, buying the dip on that. Tesla was going to roll over, but Elon Musk, being the crafty person that he is, saved it with the whole robo-taxi talk, but it's still in a downtrend. I mean, this is the channel here. It's trading on this channel. I still expect it to go to $100 or lower on Tesla, because Elon can only do so much at the end of the day. Anyway, the Nasdaq's in the same boat, here. Yeah, so that's what we got for the equities markets. The VIX. So the VIX has held, which is great. The VIX is held at that mark to the 200-day moving average. Now on the weekly, it can go lower though. It can go to 423, which is actually close to this moving average around here, this zone, which would be okay. But this is on a slow grind up. So volatility is starting to return. As it returns, as we get higher, again, 22 and above is really where you want to see this metric. That's when opportunities will be available, which will be a beautiful thing. As we start to get closer to 19, 18, it'll really start to be evident. But then once we cross this dotted line here, this white dotted line, that'll be nice. We've been on a grind since December of 23 upwards. So a slow grind up. So let's get into commodities real quick. Coffee's up. I'm just going to really breeze through this because I want to talk about something else. Commodities, coffee is up. Cocoa is pulling back, but it's still high. It reached 10,000 tons per pound, I believe. Metric. I might be misinterpreting this, but overall, it's expensive still for companies to include it into their products. So I wouldn't be surprised if this stays elevated. You're not getting the cocoa in your Reese's or your Hershey's anymore. They're going to start substituting it for something else, which isn't good, But this was more or less a natural disaster in this area of Africa where it's harvested, which is why these prices have stayed elevated because, there's no ETA on that. But that's what's going on with cocoa. Copper's up. Again, these are all inflation indicators. And oil's another inflation indicator. Oil's elevated. Oil's been elevated. It's been going up since February. So yeah. And then lastly, what I really want to discuss is gold on the blockchain. And this is what's said when people are referring to tokenization of assets, tokenization of the blockchain. And this is what it's meant. Gold is now, because of Paxos, because of Pax Gold, is a more liquid commodity. So PAXG, they take the underlying asset and represent it on the blockchain. They hold a certain amount of gold, which is verifiable, in an Explorer through reports. These are the transactions live happening on the chain for Pax Gold, on the Etherscan, even on Solana. They have it tradable there. And you can see not much up to date here on Solana. It was a day ago. You have more activity happening on the ERC20 side for Ethereum. So this is what is the beauty of the blockchain, tokenizing assets, you name it. This is what the efficiency and transparency is going to bring, where you're able to have ease of transfer and transfer between parties at any time, at any fraction. Since PAXG is divisible, it allows for fractional ownership of gold, and you can buy, hold, sell fractions of a single gold bar globally. It's immutable, it's transparent, and this is what blockchain technology is going to do, is doing, and will do moving forward when you talk about tokenization. It has to make sense for it to be tokenized, obviously, but you can have trillions upon trillions of dollars, hundreds of trillions of dollars on the blockchain in a very transparent and efficient way, opening up the door to a lot. This makes gold more tradable and liquid. Again, I can swap PAXG for USD and cash out. I don't have to worry about going to a pawn shop, sell my gold bars and everything. So if you guys want to hear me talk more about tokenization and get more into that, let me know. Same thing with building out a framework for evaluating real world assets and whatnot. Let me know. So I'll see you guys tomorrow when we talk about the CPI data.